So the two types of risks that we face now with subsequent events or post-reporting date events is that they are not detected. The client doesn't detect the post-reporting date events, and therefore they're not recorded, and this is specifically if they are adjusting. They were adjusting post-reporting date events, the client didn't detect them, so they have not recorded, which means the financials have a misstatement. Why? Because the financials are not complete. Because an adjusting event hasn't been recorded. The second risk is that subsequent events are recorded, so these post-reporting date events are recorded. But they have not been accounted for or disclosed correctly. So management saw that there was an adjusting event and went and adjusted their financials, but the adjustment was wrong. And as a result of the adjustment being wrong, the financials are wrong. Or management saw that there was an event that arose after year end, and they disclosed it incorrectly. So, the common questions, obviously now having to address those risks, or at least UNISO or SACA want to make sure that you can answer questions that deal with those risks. So the first type of question is describe procedures to identify subsequent events. Because we know that these are procedures that we have to do as auditors, have to do this in period 1 only. Go and identify subsequent events. In period 2 and period 3, we don't have to identify them. But if we become aware, we have to consider them. So how could we pick up if there were any events post-reporting date before the audit report date that could be adjusting or non-adjusting? I want you to think about ways we could try and find if there were post-reporting date events in that period. Second type of question is audit a subsequent event. So this one you really are addressing risk number 2, where the subsequent event was not recorded correctly or disclosed correctly. So the first one, sorry guys, you really are addressing risk number 1, where they have not detected and therefore recorded a subsequent event. Number 2, you're addressing risk number 2, where it could be recorded incorrectly. They adjusted the financials for a subsequent event, but they did it wrong. Number 3, discuss the effect of the subsequent event on the audit report. So once again, there's a subsequent event or a post-reporting date event, and you need to go and see, is it adjusting, and did they adjust? If they adjusted, did they do it correctly? Or did they do it incorrectly? Or if it's adjusting and they didn't adjust, you've got a misstatement. So now we're going to have to see if they did it correctly, what's the effect on the audit report? If they did it incorrectly, you've got a misstatement. And so what does that mean in terms of the audit report? And if they didn't adjust, then you've got a misstatement. So what does that mean in terms of the audit report? Okay, if it is a non-adjusting, then there's no effect on the audit report if they didn't do anything for it. because it shouldn't have had an impact on the financials. And then the fourth type of question, discuss the accounting treatment of a subsequent event. Guys, this one is the most common, I would say. And this is purely accounting. So you want to go and use your IAS 10 to help you to see, first of all, that it is a post-reporting date event. And how do you do that? You just need to use the dates to prove that. So you're going to say year end is this date, the event took place on this date, therefore it's post-reporting. And then 2, you're going to have to go and decide, is it adjusting versus non-adjusting? And you're going to then have to analyze, were the conditions present at year end or did they arise after year end, to be able to conclude whether it is adjusting versus non. So guys, I'm not going to look at question 4, although I'm saying it's the most common. It's an accounting question, and so you guys will have addressed this in accounting. You'll know how to work through the process of it. Just be aware that often they ask it from an accounting perspective in your auditing papers. So our first one, I said to you when we did it, think about ways how we could identify if there was a post-reporting date event. Think about it, guys. It's an event that is taking place after year end. What documents could I look at after year end to help me see if an event has taken place? Minutes of meetings. What else? Budgets, cash flows, forecasts, because those are all things that a client has gone and said, let's predict that we are going to be buying and selling things after year end. So in our forecast for next year, there's this potential event planned. Maybe interim financial statements for next year, if they've already got something. Accounting records for next year could help us. Okay, so I've given some things here. Inspecting, we've said next period budgets or forecast. I've now also gone and said inspect minutes of meetings, post year end. Because that's where your directors and your shareholders would make decisions for that specific period, which is post year end. And interim financial statements. So that means we're looking at next period's financial statements, that they are just compiling for maybe a quarterly review or something like that. And then I've just made a note here, looking at the prior period financial statements for examples of the subsequent events or post-reporting date events that they had last year, because that could help us to identify if the same type of event could happen this year. If they're in a business where they do have similar kind of events happening around the same time every year. So that's what you could go and look at. Easy, guys. Think about it. I don't want you to study a list here. I want you to think about it from a logical perspective. We're looking at post-reporting date events. What could I look at post-reporting date to help me find? It's everything that's happening after, ready for next year. Budgets and forecasts are for next year. Interim financial statements are for next year. Minutes of meetings that are taking place next year are going to help us. Okay, then I've also got here, you could inquire with. Who could you inquire with? Who's the most obvious? Always management. Or you could inquire with those charged with governance. Who else could you ask to see if there have been any events after year end that are material or important to the client? This person would be a third party. And especially think of things like where there is a court case that they're waiting for evidence from, or waiting for the sentence from the court case. So you could inquire with attorneys. And so as a result, you could also then just go and say, get a external confirmation from attorneys or lawyers, because they would be the people who would be dealing with any kind of litigations and claims which could have actually the conditions arose before year end, but the court case hearing is only taking place after year end. And guys, all of these procedures can be found in paragraph 6 to 7. And then there's the application paragraphs that go with paragraph 6 and 7, which are A6 to A10, which give all the detail. Guys, we'll look at the standard as a whole after we've finished with everything. So that's your first thing. We need to do these, but only for period 1, before the audit report date. But remember, if as a result of becoming aware of an event after year end, which happens in period 2 or 3, we have to go and do work on that, then all of a sudden our audit report date changes to that time, and so period 1 now needs to be extended to the date of my new audit report, which means I'm going to have to go and do these for that new extension, being period 1. Okay, let's look at auditing the subsequent event.